Okay, here we go for our classic sleeveless top. The first thing we're going to do is a gauge swatch. And so I hope you remember how to chain. We're going to chain in 24, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I guess I didn't have to sit here and do this on camera, but that's okay. Because it says in the pattern that 22 stitches is going to be 4 inches. And we do need to check this to make sure that when you make it, it's going to be the size you expect it to be. So now to do the next row, we're going to work not on the V side, but on the back side. Let me hold this properly. Where you can see there's just a little bump that goes down the center of the back side. We're going to put our hook in these. I'm sorry, I'm losing focus. We're going to skip this first one and put our hook in the second one for our first stitch. Can't decide if it wants to focus on me or the tablecloth. So single crochet, you insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through. So that's our first stitch. It's going to look a little wonky. Don't be nervous. Keep going. Chain 1, skip 1, which means we're going to skip this next chain and do a stitch in this next in the second chain. Same thing, single crochet. Insert our hook, yarn over, chain 1, skip 1, work into the next one. And we're just going to do that all the way across. It doesn't really matter which loop you use for this first row, but I like using this back loop because it will make the edge really nice and crisp for us to work with later on. So let me just get to the end of my row here. Single crochet. So this is the pattern, this is the stitch pattern that the whole top is going to be in. And we're just going to add stitches and remove stitches in order to make the shaping. You can do this, right? Single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Sorry, it's time to take my medicine. Single crochet, chain 1, skip 1 to the end. Okay, I'm also using a little bit heavier yarn than you because I need to make it a larger size. So don't be surprised that my hook says H and you're using a G. It's because I'm trying to make it bigger by using bigger yarn and bigger hooks. So when you get to the end of the row, you chain 1, and that's called a turning chain. It just gives us enough room to turn it and work back the other way without getting it all in a twist. So you can see these are the single crochets and these are the chains all the way through. So there's a little bit of a space over the chain, and the single crochets are tied into our initial chain. So the mesh stitch is that you stitch where there's a stitch, you stitch, where there's a chain, you chain. So we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, single crochet in the next single crochet, chain 1, skip that chain, go for the next single crochet, and so on. So you need to work in this stitch until it's 4 inches tall. Just in rows the same way, back and forth. Each direction it's the exact same way. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Just make sure that your single crochets go into single crochets and that your chains are over the chains. So in the end, that leaves us with this kind of textured stitch that's a lot easier than it looks, right? And by the time you have it thick, there's no big gaps or holes in the fabric like there is in this first chain. It'll be much more solid. I'm sorry I can't get this. I'll do the next one without the tablecloth. So keep going until you have 4 inches, measure it, and tell me how many rows and how many stitches it took to get to 4 inches. And then we'll know which size to make based on that. Talk to you soon.